All right, good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, September 10th, 2023. It is 10:30 a.m. here in Toronto. Marcel's over there in Netherlands in the homeland. Marcel, what time is it? 4:30?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there you go. So here's the thing, guys. Obviously, we usually do the podcast on Monday evenings. But Marcel, I honestly wanted to do it last night after the event, to be honest with you, because I was like, man, this is just so much, this is crazy. We need to talk about this. But instead, we'll just do it this morning. Marcel, Sean Strickland is a UFC champion.
Yeah, man.
Pinch me, baby.
When you say, here's the thing, I already had to laugh, So, man, crazy, absolutely crazy. Dude, the event was over, I think, like 6:45 a.m. over here, and I've been awake till 8:45 a.m. to watch the presser afterwards. Normally, I never watch the presser. This time I watched it. I waited to Sean Strickland arrive there. Man, nuts. Who would have thought, man, to be honest, what can I say? Just you start, man. You start.
I usually I'm like, hey, Marcel, how are you doing? How was your weekend? But I'm like, let's just fucking get in this. By the way, Monster Energy, Hands Bowling Camp. We got to start tagging them in the tweets, man. We have to. They got to sponsor us, dude. This is crazy.
Come on.
I know, honestly. I usually like, Marcel, how was your weekend? How did Ajax do? By the way, I told you I moved to Ajax now, right? Remember I told you about that town?
No, you didn't.
I did. I moved here. So I'm a town over from where I used to live, and I know it's your favorite soccer team. But anyways, yeah, wow, just unbelievable, Marcel. Unbelievable night. Let's just get into it now. We're gonna get more people jumping in the chat as we go along. What a fucking crazy sport. What a fucking crazy night. There's a lot of things you could take away from this performance, but first and foremost, let's just give credit where it's credit's due, Marcel. Sean Strickland looked fucking incredible last night. That was seriously one of the most singly impressive performances in UFC history. He went in there, Marcel, for 5 rounds in a fight that most people thought he would lose. And not only did he win, but he dominated the fight. He absolutely dominated this fight. He made Izzy look like an amateur. Unfucking real. We all knew, I wouldn't say all of us do, but me and you knew Strickland was good. You know how high I'm on Strickland. I talk about it every fucking week. I'm like, man, I love Sean Strickland.
Uh-huh.
And still, I thought, it's a bad matchup for him. The odds are a little high, but it's still a bad matchup. I can't do it. And then he goes up there and fucking dominates. I'm in shock still, man. I gotta be honest with you, because it's not that he's just won. He could, that's the thing with MMA, right? Sometimes you'll see a guy get a knockout or something, or submission in the first round, and you wonder, how would that have played out over a longer period of time?
That's it. Yeah.
In this case, no, Marcel. We actually got to see it play out for 5 rounds, and he fucking dominated. So give me your thoughts, man.
Bro, also, first of all, I gotta give extra credit to Eric Nixon as well, dude. That man is like a fucking genius, What can I say, man? The funny thing is, after the fight, I said, you see, if Sean Strickland keeps himself to the game plan, it works. And then he says in the presser, the game plan was to wrestle. I was like, oh, so he didn't keep his game plan. But man, he knocked him down, man, in the first round. I don't think anybody knocked Izzy down in his career, because his only stoppage loss was against standing TKO against Pereira.
Let me double check that, because I actually think you're right. I just want to double check. And you, sir, are correct. First time Israel's ever been knocked down in MMA. Now, he was not obviously knocked down and knocked out in kickboxing by Pereira as well. But in MMA, Marcel, and what he has, how many fights? 27 fights. First time he's been knocked down. Unbelievable. Keep going.
Man, absolutely crazy. I think the second round, I think that was Adesanya's best round. I think I gave that one to him. Man, Strickland took over after that, and he had the more impactful shots in the fight. He was pushing the pace. He did well. He won 4-1. I think all judges had it right. So I was actually happy all judges had it right, in my opinion. So man, what a fucking win!
Oh wait, was there? I gotta say it. Wasn't there at one point DC was like, oh, I think it could be 3-1 each way, and then maybe possibly 1-3, for 3-1 for Izzy. I'm like, what is he talking about?
But we always wonder what DC is talking about. Let's be honest.
Even though Dana's at the press conference said he's amazing. I thought Lorisenko did a good job, though. I thought she was great last night.
She did. It actually sucks for DC that he was next to Lorisenko and not to Rogan, because you hear he was extra bad. Sanko did really good.
I want to get some comments here, guys, because we got some really cool people in the chat. We got Hype in the chat, and What a Fight. We got USA in the chat. We got our boy James Lynch in the chat.
What's
This
up,
is the real
James?
James
What's
Lynch.
up?
James, what's up, man? Good morning, brother. 7:30 a.m. for James. He's probably just getting up. He's probably got to get his kids ready for. I think he said your son's going to hockey, right, today, James? That's awesome, man. Let's keep going here. Is the weight cut too much now for Izzy? I mean, I think so. Probably. We'll talk about Izzy in one sec. I just want to talk about Sean for a sec. Yeah, no, I think he did say James. Didn't he say Marcel? Like it was like it could be.
I'm not sure.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
I have two streams on. I have the US stream on and the Dutch stream on, so it's really hard for me to hear.
Do you think you could have scored it 3-2 instead of 4-1? Is that possible? Or
no? I honestly think that Strickland won 4 rounds. And the thing is, like people say, Izzy was moving in and out. He was getting distance and counter shots, but that wasn't enough for me to score it for Izzy. In my opinion. I think Strickland won 4 rounds. If I thought it was close, I would say it, but I really think Strickland won 4 rounds.
Yeah, I think the only round that Izzy won was the second round. And I'm just looking at James. Man, James is a fucking beast. And I know you're gonna pump out some crazy content today, James. I know. By the way, I just wanted to give James a shout out because he did like an instant reaction stream last night. I honestly wanted to jump on with you, James, but I was pretty tired because it ended. It actually ended earlier than usual, but I wanted to see that post fight presser, Marcel, and it took a while for what's his name, Strickland, to come out there last night, Marcel. And then, of course, Israel didn't even talk. Yeah, Behrman, okay, so he did give credit to Sean. But he did make some excuses, I think, for Israel as well. And they kept saying, like, yeah, if we fought this fight again, we're going to win, dominate. Like, he wasn't listening to us in the corner. It's like, maybe he just couldn't pull the trigger anymore. I got to be honest with you, Marcel, and I know people are going to probably criticize me for saying this, and it's just one fight. Again, it's just one fight. But, like, Israel, he looked horrible last night. He looked like a shot fighter last night. He looked like washed up last night. Again, it was just one performance, and Marcel, he might bounce back in the next fight and look amazing again, right? Because he's done that before. Remember when he lost at Blachowicz? I know that was at 205, but still, that he dropped down, won 3 straight fights, and was like destroying everyone, right? So at the same time, though, he has lost 2 of his last 3 fights. Lost 2 of his last 3 fights. He got knocked out by Pereira, and in the rematch, Pereira was tooling him up before he landed that counter shot. Israel's just not the same guy right now, Marcel. He is 35 years old. I'm turning 35 this week, guys. Like, you do start to slow down a little bit. I understand he's a professional athlete. Like, I get that. But at the same time, he's in a combat sport. That was his 27th MMA fight, Marcel. Plus, how many kickboxing fights has he had? He's taken a lot of damage. He doesn't look like the same guy to me. Give me your thoughts on Izzy, because I thought he looked like shit, honestly.
Bro, you're such an old fuck. You're gonna be closer to 40 than 30.
I know, isn't that? I know. One of my buddies here. He's born in January. He's turning 36 in January 2nd, and I'm like, holy shit, you're closer to 40 than whatever. So yeah.
Well, I always have to think like, Gordon Ramsay, that cook from of course. He's like, what's 40? 40 is the gateway to 50, or 50 is the gateway to 60. Before you know, you got a free bus pass.
By the way, guys, I got this new headset from work. Let me know if it's better sound. If not, I'll switch back to the iPod headphones. But let me know what you guys think. Marcel said it sounded cleaner, so I'll keep it for now. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, man. I'm like, listen. I think Izzy's dominance is over, dude, at middleweight, and I don't say that because I think Sean will keep the belt for a long time. I don't know, but you got like Dricus is coming up as well. You got, if Khamzat wins against Costa, you got Khamzat coming up as well. So it's like you got a lot of more contenders, and Izzy didn't look good, And Dana said like we're gonna do an immediate rematch. I'm honestly like, dude. He lost 2 of his last 3 title fights. We don't need to see an immediate rematch. Give it to Dricus. Dricus deserves it. So I'm like, yeah, we'll see. And for Izzy, I mean, in the cage, he was really respectful. I felt to Sean.
He was.
But like, man, post-fight press, I was like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, you got to be. Listen, man. If you win, you got to be a good champion. But if you lose, you got to be a good loser as well. And this was like. Really weird to me, but hey, I don't mind. I mean, it is what it is, and dude, I'm happy we see we might see some new stuff in the middleweight division, because I felt like the division, although listen, man, let's be honest, the division was kind of dead, with Pereira, Adesanya. They got Pereira in the UFC to challenge Adesanya, but besides that, Adesanya was pretty much knocking off everybody, so knocking off every challenger. And it's crazy that Strickland actually was the one here that did it. So, yeah, great.
I agree. Let's get some more comments. Jeremy just can't admit they didn't have a good – I completely agree. I mean, they completely overlooked Sean. They probably thought this was an easy fight. Like, it was a joke of a fight. Like, it was a short training camp for both guys, right?
Mhm.
That's the other thing. Like, because the UFC made this card, remember, and then they had that Dracus fight book, which we all talked about. Like, why did that fight's never? We probably will never see that fight now. To be honest with you, Marcel, we probably never see Dracus and Izzy. I can't see how we'd see it. And because they had this card booked and they couldn't change the date, it was like, Izzy, you have to fight. And I'm sure he was like, okay, I'll take Strickland, who's an easy fight for me, and it didn't turn out to be that way. Hey, Antoine, what's up, man? He says, where's the rank on your all-time championship upset? I mean, I think it might be the biggest. Like, I understand, like, by the odds, I think Holly Holm and Matt Serra were bigger, but I don't know. It's right up there. I'd say top three of all time. Is that fair, Marcel? Top three?
Yeah, I would think so, man. I think probably Sarah GSP still tops it, I would say.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, with this one, and when I look at the fight, I was like, I don't see Sean winning this fight. That wasn't my thought. So it's pretty high up there. But the same goes, listen, with Grasso Shevchenko, I didn't see Grasso beating Shevchenko at all. I couldn't see it. And she did it as well, So it's there also, And back in the day, I remember, and now if we look back at it, not anymore, but Hanan Barao against TJ Dillashaw.
I was just about to say that one too. This actually reminded me of that one. It just clued in my mind. This reminded me of that one as well a little bit.
Nobody brings it up anymore because nobody brings it up anymore because everybody knows where Dillashaw went and where Barao went.
But at the time, man, remember what's his name? Joe Rogan's like, this guy's a monster. I think that was the whole thing, right? The whole marketing strategy, calling him a monster. Get some more comments. I completely agree with James. Why is he getting okay? They haven't confirmed it, but Dana said, he's probably gonna get a rematch. It's just because Dana and Hunter Campbell are shitting their pants now because they're like, fuck, we don't want this. As Sean says, how does he say it, Marcel? You got the clip?
He was like, damn, dude. Now I'm thinking about it. Or Dana and Hunter are probably backstage. Like, how the fuck did we give this retard to fight for the belt? And he's like, yeah.
Too funny, man. Yeah, I know. He's one of a kind. I love Sean Strickland. Like, guys, I watch all of his interviews with Helen Yee and the Schmo. He does honestly does one like every week with them. They're gonna definitely do it with them. Like, good for them though. That's the thing. When you build these relationships and now these guys become champions, like, it's huge for you, right? So that's huge for them. I know James has interviewed Sean Strickland before as well. I know Cole interviewed him. I gotta be honest, like, guys, I actually watched this, James. I don't know if you're in the chat, James. UFC 171. Hendricks versus Lawler won the first one. He made his debut against Bubba McDaniel on the prelims. I watched this card with James and Brad Pashchuk and a few other friends back in the day. And I was like, who is this guy? I'm like, this guy's a pretty good prospect. Like, who is, because he went in there, submitted a veteran, right? And then if you look, here's the thing about Sean Marcel, he's fucking good. Like, he's 15-5 in the UFC. He's not a bum. It's not like he's like 6-7 or something. No. He's 15-5. He fought Usman. He's fought Pereira. Like, he's fought champions, and the guy's at middleweight. His only loss is to Pereira because I did score the fight against Canada for him. So the guy's great, man. There's no doubt about it.
Strickland is he's actually smart. He makes you think that he's just like this Joker kind of guy, who talks a lot and just being. But he's not a bad fighter, Listen, man, at middleweight, he only got knocked out by Pereira, and he lost a close decision to Cannonier. He won all his other middleweight fights. So it's like, and this probably because of his stance. People like to ridicule him that it looks like Akali, but he still gets it done. His cardio is on point. He can go 5 rounds, and man. It was enjoyable, and listen, man. I know for a lot of people, it's not a cup of tea how he talks and that kind of stuff. I think it's hilarious, to be honest. Maybe I have some weird kind of humor, but I think it's hilarious. But I don't think everything too serious, so that's maybe why.
Yep.
But it's like I'm really gonna looking forward to this next coming months. How this gonna pan out, all
Like, personally, Marcel, like, if I was a matchmaker, and I'm not, obviously, I'm just some dude doing a stream, but I would do him and Dracus next. Like, I think that's the fight to make. And I actually think, well, it's hard to say Sean's going to lose after last night because he looked amazing. But, like, Dracus, I think, could beat a lot of guys in this division, too. Like, I think I was going to pick Dracus against Izzy, to be honest with you. I think I might have. So, yeah, I mean, that's the fight to make. But I'm with James. Like, he shouldn't get the rematch. And I think, I agree. I mean, I think Chimaev, if he beats Costa, which the odds say he should, I think that's the fight to make against Izzy, and then the winner of that would get the next title shot. Happy almost birthday. I was blessed to make it that far, man. Dude, I completely agree, man. Thank you so much, brother. Yeah, my birthday's on Wednesday, I want to say. Yeah, this has been a really hard year for me personally, guys. Like, not everyone knows what's going on with me, but some of you guys do. But yeah, I made it here, Marcel, 35, man, in a few days. So every day's a blessing, guys. You're not promised it, right? We're not promised tomorrow. Daniel, what's up, man? Morning. Marcel's talking facts. How grateful, dude. He sure is. He always talks facts in here. That's why we listen to the podcast with him. Considering all the things surrounding this short nose travel, Australia's huge win. It's massive. Peter Nunes, oh yeah, that's top 5 too. What's up, Joe? It's definitely top 5, 100%. Yep.
Also, how crazy is it if you think about it, man? If I'm asking my friends or people I'm talking MMA with, they were all like, how great would it be to see Sean Strickland win? And Strickland is actually right, People were, listen, man, and I have nothing against the fighter Adesanya, I think he's amazing,
Yep.
People really got tired of Adesanya, I really had that feeling the whole week leading up to the fight, there was like nobody who told me was like, I hope Adesanya wins. And normally it's like people are messaging me, I hope this guy wins, what do you think, literally everybody was like, dude, how crazy would it be if Sean wins this fight? So Sean's actually also right with what he said, like, it's not even all of his fans there, but there are a lot of people who didn't want to see Adesanya win for some reason. And it's crazy to think that Adesanya is from New Zealand and we were in Australia, so there are probably a lot of New Zealand people there. But Strickland got a huge pop, man.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, it's crazy, honestly,
Yep. No, I completely agree. Let's get some more comments. How do you see the betting odds Strickland Duplessis? I would imagine they're going to open it close to a pick'em fight because I just feel like, again, Sean was like a plus 470 dog last night, so there's just not much respect for him. And then Duplessis was a plus 350 dog against Whitaker, so there's not much respect for him. It's kind of crazy. You just have the two, like, I would say, I don't know. It's so hard to say. Like, everyone was so quickly to say that Israel's the best middleweight. Like, I still kind of feel it's Anderson, to be honest with you. Like, do you? Okay, so I'm on low there. Like, don't get me wrong. Izzy's wins are good. They're great, but he's also lost a few times too, right? So, and I know Anderson did at the end of his career, but that 16-fight run, yeah.
The pure dominance, and people are going to say Adesanya beat him. Yeah, but that was after his pure dominance, You got to see it in the way. Nobody did what Anderson did with the title defenses in that weight class. So Izzy, for me, is definitely number 2, 100%,
Yep.
But Adesanya or Anderson Silva is still number 1.
You can honestly argue that both of the guys, so it's something you can argue each way for sure. All right. So others, I mean, I think we all are. Sean sells better than Izzy, not sure their media reactions right. I mean, I don't think he's wrong, especially in the States. Like, I'd imagine Strickland will fight on maybe the next Vegas card in the pay-per-view. But if not, because the thing about Strickland is he fights often too, right? Like, he always fights. So they could probably turn him around. He didn't take much damage at all in this fight. They might be able to get him back in there for that December card, potentially. Maybe you could do a double title fight. You could do Yuri and what's it called? Who's Yuri fighting again, Marcel, for the 205?
Probably Pereira, right?
Pereira, that's the fight. Sorry. And then Izzy versus Strickland. That's what I was about to say. Thank you. James, I'm going to do video list later. Go and check out James's channel, James Lynch MMA on YouTube. It does look like they're protecting him.
Now James is here, man. Let me make an extra ad here. The Parting Shot podcast you two did. You did one last week.
We did.
I love that one. That's Patreon only, right? Except for last time when it was in public. But it's Patreon only, and definitely subscribe to James Lynch's Patreon. I mean, I love it, and that Parting Shot podcast is a big part of it. It's amazing.
And for $3 a month too, you get the Discord, right? Like, and I think you only have to sign up once, if I'm not mistaken, James, and you automatically get it forever. So the Discord, dude, like, I'm on, like, I do use Twitter still, as you guys know, but like, I'm in the Discord even more often these days, talking about the fights with you guys, because it's like the guys we have in that channel, Marcel, like, it's like a brotherhood when you say Marcel. So I love it there. Yeah, just giving James some props, because the guy's a grinder, man. Me and James have been friends for, it's been 13 years now, man. It's crazy. Everyone forgetting about Cannonier. That's true too. Like, listen, like, the fight was close, but he did win, and then he dominated his next fight. His Victoria looked amazing. Cannonier's got to be mentioned in this conversation, right? He was the backup fighter. He was at the event. He did weigh in, but because they're going to do this rematch, it looks like he's going to have to wait a little bit. So I don't know what they're going to do with Jared Cannonier. Maybe they do him and Chimaev if he beats Costa, which I think could have been the fight in the whole way around. But then you also have Nazardine Imavov against Akram Askarov. So that's another fight. All the Abus fans. Remember when, dude, it's crazy. 2 months ago, everyone's like, Abus is going to explode Strickland. He's going to knock him out. Yeah, right. They gave you his fight with the full camp, the opponent to have a shorter camp. Now they're giving him rematch. It doesn't make sense, James. It really doesn't. It's just like they want him so bad as champ, but like
They want.
I got to be honest. Maybe they're gonna go look at the metrics now and be like, hey, you know what, guys? Strickland is a good champion for us. Radke, Kopp, and Strickland, the 3K. We'll talk about those guys in a sec. Yeah, I think Sean Smith was there watching that card. I haven't talked to Sean in a while. What's up, guys? Props to Sean. Never thought he did it. Yep. Abu's fans will now say, well, Abu's lost to champ. That's so funny. It's true, though. They're going to change that narrative up so much. Never forget people said Strickland's bad champ. The guy got knocked up by who? Israel, Aleski, the Elizu Zaleski dos Santos, and Alex Pereira. So the biggest hitter probably at 185, a guy who should be fighting 205. And the guy, you talk about underrated fighters, Elizu Zaleski dos Santos is a very underrated fighter. He's very good. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, there's a little bit of a argument in the chat here. It's kind of funny. All right, let me get through these. Yeah, I mean, it is this. It is. Marcel, and this is why we love it every week, right? We watch it every weekend. It's the best. It's the best, man. You know, it is the fucking best. They can't carry fair says F word, they'll say the F word. That's true. That's funny. That's the thing. I was gonna say, like I said last night, like Kopp saved Radke's job. All right, I think we're good for the main event.
Yeah,
is there anything else you guys want to say, or are you good for the main event? You're good, Marcel?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I mean, I said everything I wanted to say, and yeah, it was crazy, dude.
One more shout out to the master here, James Lynch. Man, have a great day, James, and I hope Landon has a great day at hockey, man. That's awesome that you put him into it. Dude, he really did. I'm telling you right now, I honestly think they were going to cut that dude, and then Kopp did it, and they're like, okay, we can't cut Kopp, so we can't cut the other guy. All right, let's go to the co-main event. I mean, how the fuck did Volkov not get a 50K bonus?
Yeah, he was mad about it on the press.
He was pissed, right? I saw it, right? He's like, oh, how do I not get bonus? I need bonus. I deserve bonus. I first submission in UFC. Dude, he got an Ezekiel choke submission. Like, wow. Okay, another guy, again, you talk about Strickland, a guy who's put the work in. Volkov too, man. Like, Bellator champion. I remember watching him Bellator way back in the day, tons of fights, and then came to UFC, and at the time when he got signed, Marcel, it wasn't like a big deal, really. It was like, you got this former Bellator champ. He's not that good. And he's had a great career in the UFC. His record is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 4 in the UFC. That's a very good record. And he has some good wins, and he's a very good fighter. 3 straight wins. He is 35. He's the same age as me. Actually, his birthday's in October, so he's 34 still. He's gonna be 35 next month. I think he's in the prime of his career right now, man. He's looked amazing. What do you do for him next, though? Because he's kind of in a weird spot, right? Because
I give him the fight against the winner of Blades Almeida, I think. You know.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
I mean, Volkov, after the Aspinall fight in March last year, I think he leveled up, man. He got 3 finishes against Rosenstruck, against Romanov, and now against Tuivasa, and he looked good in all those fights, you know. And I think against Tuivasa, he was stand up was better. Tuivasa was really looking for that one-punch knockout like he always does, but Volkov way too smart for him there. And on the ground, I think he has actually multiple times moments where he could get the rear naked choke, but for some reason he didn't do that. And he got Ezekiel, you know, so. Yeah, great win for Volkov, man. And he got the finish, like you said earlier on the podcast. I think you said TKO, like most people would say TKO, you know, if he got a finish. And he got a submission. This is the first submission in the UFC. So, yeah, good for Volkov, man. I'm happy for him. He seems like a good guy as well. Yeah. And he's talking English now as well. So
his English is good too, eh? I thought it was really good. Yeah, it's really good. I really like Volkov, man. He's a great fighter, guys. Like, again, I love these guys that have put the work in. I respect these guys so much more than guys that get immediately shot to the title. I really respect Volkov. He's been around for so long. He's a great fighter. He deserves a top 5 opponent, I would say, right? So the winner of Blades and Almeida makes sense. The other thing I was thinking, maybe depends what they do with Aspinall, really. Like, because there's Pavlovich, Aspinall, and Gone, really. Like, they could do the rematch with him and Gone, too, because it wasn't like that first fight was a complete blowout. It was somewhat competitive striking battle, right? I think I want to see the numbers in that fight. 135 to 115. Very close for Gone. Very close. He won, but the number seems close. Now, again, he won the fight. There's no doubt about it. I'm just saying, like, the numbers say it was pretty competitive. And as far as Tai goes, 3-fight losing skid. fun guy to watch, but very limited, obviously, besides the big right hand, Marcel, and the left hook.
I mean, we got to say, like, he lost to, in a competitive fight, to Cyril Gane, he lost to Pavlovich, and he lost to Volkov. So it's like, not he lost to the bottom of the barrel, right? So,
yeah. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I think they're going to use him as a gatekeeper, though, if I had to imagine.
I think he's a guy who can keep being in the top 10, top 15, but I don't see him like, he got way up because of that knockout against Derek Lewis, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think he's top 5 material, to be honest, So, but Tai is a fun fighter, and he can make it fun with a lot of guys. And I think he beats a lot of guys at heavyweight still because he got that great power, that one-punch knockout power. But against the better technical fighters, he will struggle.
I agree. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Fight of the night, Manel Kopp defeats Felipe Dos Santos. What a fucking fight.
Yeah, great.
Kopp looked great again. Kopp is so good. Kopp is top 5. How is he ranked number 10? He's top 5 in the world. And this Dos Santos guy looked great. Give me your thoughts, man.
I love the fight, man. I think Manel Kopp showed again that he's really good, and maybe his how do you say that, his performance doesn't get really rated because he fought the newcomer, but undefeated newcomer. And that guy did really good, He gave him a good fight, got like a fucking iron chin because Kopp hit him with a lot of good shots, but he went through it. 3 rounds. I think they 2 judges scored 29-28. One did 30-27. I had 30-27 myself.
I had 29-28. I give the third round to Dos Santos personally.
Okay. But I mean, that was the third round was the closest round, definitely. Fun fight overall. I think if anything, Kopp did what he had to do, and for Felipe Dos Santos, he showed himself in the first UFC fight debut. Good for him, man.
Do you do the rebooking with KKF?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I think that's the plan because they're still talking shit. They showed him on the screen. I'm sure the UFC's like, go say something about this guy if you win, So trust me, the UFC always plays 4D chess. They know what the next fight is, Marcel. They always know what the next fight is, Even though Dana's like, we don't make fights on the night of the fight. They already, trust me, they have that in the war room too. We just don't see it. There's 2 walls in the war room. They show the one with like, matchup with the little contender series thing, and then the other wall, they're like, okay, these are the fights we're actually going to do, like down the road.
You see the funny thing nowadays, because people are picked up that when they're in the war room, they're going to zoom in on stuff, and now they're like, they have screens, black screens.
That happened last year, didn't it? Remember they leaked a bunch of fights, like and remember that? Yeah. Okay, a couple comments. Rather see Sean and Dracus in Africa. I mean, that would be funny if Sean gets the first fight in Africa, not Izzy. But yeah, I mean, I think my guess was the plan to do that fight in South Africa. That was my guess, like next year. But we'll see what happens. And maybe they'll do Izzy on UFC 200 against Sean too. I mean, they might. UFC's booked to be March per day there. Probably not now, but you never know. All right. Yeah, that's the thing with the Tarzan thing. He actually got rid of this nickname a while ago. It's off the UFC stats website, and then Bruce Buffer called him Tarzan.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was like because he's used to saying it or because Sean told him to say it, but like Sean has said, that's not my nickname anymore.
Yeah, I think it's just Bruce made the mistake. Yeah.
I think so too, but it was still awesome though. I loved hearing it. Like, I mean, I remember back because he used to have long hair. Dude, Strickland used to have like long hair, guys. By the way, Strickland's girlfriend. Oh my god, like this guy is killing life right now, guys. He is fucking killing life, Marcel. I think we'll agree on that. The guy is champ. He's got a lot of money in his bank account, and his girlfriend's smoking hot. So good for this guy, man. Again, you put the work in, guys, you get what you deserve. Justin Taffa knocks out Austin Lane in the rematch. Like, this is how I thought the first fight would go. I mean, I'm not surprised this is how it went in the rematch. But again, I poke 10 seconds in, Marcel.
Yeah. Like,
Lane needs to close his fucking hand. He did that thing again where he's like pawing his hand open. Like, close your hand, dude. Yeah, I mean, listen, Justin Taffa, it was a good knockout. He's 4-3 and 1 no contest in UFC. I mean, I don't think he's amazing. Like, his wins are all against terrible fighters for the most part. Like Lane, Hunsucker, Adams, and then Porter, I guess, is his best win. Parker Porter's his best win. Like, so I don't know how good he really is, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have given him the bonus. I know it was a great knockout, great left hook. It was nasty. Or not left hook, it was the overhand left, actually. But I would have given the bonus to Volkov instead, Marcel, no doubt, 100%. And I know you agree, right?
Yeah, man. And the thing is, like, Lane eye poked him in June, and now he had to travel to fucking Sydney for the rematch, and he got knocked out in the first round. So there's like, I really had the feeling like Taffa tried to put him through the canvas with those shots,
That's funny.
Yeah, man, good win for Taffa, and let's be honest, an expected win. Listen, man, we have I have a Dutch podcast where we do like picking fights, and I think like from the people who send in their picks, I think like let's say from the 40 people, 39 people at Tafa KO round 1 and the other at Tafa KO round 2. So it's like it's pretty much like it is, you know.
That's funny. All right, a couple comments. If O'Malley loses to Cheeto, the UFC will look on star champs. Yeah, they're trying to build stars. Sean's their guy, and then I guess Strickland could be a star potentially, but yeah, they need these guys to keep winning. That's up, Tristan. He said he lost. Yeah, dude. I mean, Tristan, I imagine the sports was cleaned up last night because everyone parlayed Carlos Alberg and Manel Kopp and Nasser Hakparast and Charlie Radke probably, and then this guy.
A lot of people parlay Jack Jenkins as well, I think.
And Jenkins. That's the thing, though. Like, if you did get to the end, I think this is a good learning experience because these are the kind of fights where you could hedge out, because the odds were so crazy that you would have only had to put a little bit on Strickland just to get your money back, your stake back, and they wouldn't have lost it all. So it's just a learning experience. Like, I don't like hedging, but when the odds are this crazy, it's so cheap to do it that it's worth a shot, I think. Not getting Volkov bonus is nuts. I completely agree. Would love for him to get the Stone Cold Monkey. Can you imagine Stone Cold Sean Strickland? That actually is fucking awesome. That's a great nickname. Next fight, Tyson Pedro knocks out Anton Turkali, the Pleasure Man. His dad gave him the nickname the Pleasure Man after I guess he caught him pleasuring himself. I mean, that's just so weird, Marcel, the Pleasure Man. Listen, like, I wasn't sure about this fight. I thought it was like a coin flip. Turkali fought like a dumbass. His head was so high in the air. You think he gets cut, Marcel? This guy's just not very good, honestly. You think he gets one more?
I think he get one more, yeah.
He's 0-3. He hasn't really been competitive.
I know, man, but he fought Almeida. I'm not rating that one,
Yeah,
he fought Petrino, which was a fight of the night, and this one he just fought really stupid, in my opinion,
Fought so bad.
But he's a funny guy, dude, on the mic, so I think they like him,
Okay, give him one more.
Give him one more, yeah. But I mean, let's give Pedro his credits, because I said last week on the podcast that I think Tyson Pedro is overrated. I still think he's kind of overrated by the UFC, but he did what he had to do, and he did it well. He tagged him, he was wobbly, and he got the finish via knockout. Good win for him, man. Happy for Tyson Pedro. He seems like a good dude as well. So, yeah, good win.
Completely agreed. All right, we just got to cruise through them, guys. Cause I got to leave it in about an hour, so we're gonna get through this card, and then we're gonna do the UFC Mexico preview. Apologies for the short notice here. It just worked out better than we're gonna do it now. I want to get my thoughts out of the way. All right, Carlos Alberg defeats Dawoon Jung with third round submission. Listen, like, he obviously won the fight, but like I don't like. I've never seen this happen where the fight ends, makes it to the final bell, and then they go back and like, no, the finish should happen 11 seconds earlier. Because here's my question: just say that there was a submission where a tap out a minute into the fight and it went to the end of the round. What's the difference? Tell me what the difference is. Tell me.
I don't know, man. I don't. It's like really weird, It's like the thing is, like, I had to laugh because like when Bruce Buffer was going to read it, he's like, referee Herb Dean has to call a stop to the contest at 4 minutes 49 seconds. I like, dude, he didn't do shit. It was a review, and there's no problem for me to review. If you go. If they can do that, and they watch the review and they see actually a tap, there was a clear tap. I didn't see it as well on the broadcast at first, until the how do you say that, the replay. I have no problem with it, but just kind of weird,
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just kind of, but it's no problem, I mean, he deserved the submission win. He tapped out, so yeah, it's okay.
I get it, like, but I just think the replay was used incorrectly. Like, I don't think that's the way they're supposed to do it. It's supposed to be like during fight ending sequences, and I get that, but like, the referee is the only guy who stops the fight in MMA. So that's the thing I'm confused about. They always say the referee don't like let go of the submission till the referee stops the fight. So I'm just a little confused by that. But regardless, Auburn looked good again. Was that 5 straight wins? Yeah. I mean, he calls out Dominic Reyes, though. Come on. What a weak fucking call out, eh?
Yeah, but we got to be honest, man. Alberg didn't look good in the third round, I think. He was really gassing until he took him down, and he actually got the submission there. But
Dawoon Jung is just not very good, Marcel. No. He's not good at all. But yeah, Alberg, I mean, definitely gets a ranked opponent. I do think Reyes is a really weak call out because he's the worst guy probably in top 15, but he wants to get an easy fight to get in there. So, yeah. All right. Chepe Mariscal, your boy, the guy's a dog again. I think he lost the first round, then comes back in the second, gets that throw, and Jack Jenkins dislocates his shoulder, I believe. Again, posting up on the ground during a throw, just not a good idea. And Keith Schillen, guy from the Sherdog podcast, I follow him on Twitter. He made a really good point because he's a wrestling guy. He's just like, in wrestling, this doesn't happen as much because the mats are padded. In MMA, the octagon's pretty hard, right? So you will see this kind of thing happen. I hope Jack Jenkins heals up very quick. He's still a good fighter. It's a shitty way to lose. But Chepe, Marcel, what a fucking dog again, right? Like, he's a guy that it's hard to bet against because he just finds a way to win. So give me any quick thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I like Chepe a lot, man. I said it last week in the podcast. I like him a lot, also as an underdog here. Listen, man, I think he was winning the second round. The first round, he clearly lost to Jenkins, Yeah, unfortunate how Jenkins landed. But, I mean, 2-0 for Chepe Mariscal. I mean, within 4 months, he gets 2 wins. So good for him. Got signed to UFC actually within 3 months, I think, actually. But, good for him, man. He looked like a fun prospect, I think. Yeah. And it's like his first fight was at 155. This was his 145, right? So, looking forward what's next for him.
He's talking about 135. I mean, if he can make that, it's even more interesting, although that's a lot of weight to cut. Mm-hmm. Jamie Mullarkey defeats John McDessie by decision. I think most of the media actually scored this fight for John McDessie. I thought it was super close. Came down to that third round. I personally scored it for Mullarkey. Marcel, very, very close, though. I thought, McDessie could win the fight. I told you guys it would be close. I knew it would be a close fight. But, yeah, any thoughts quickly on this one?
I think a huge problem here was as well with the second round that Mullarkey did better, but then he got dropped. But the thing was, he got dropped, but he got stunned, and McDessie pushed him. And that's why I think he didn't got the knockdown officially on the stats. It was a close fight, man. I would have a problem if it went to McDessie. Went to Mullarkey. I think it was close. Could have gone either way. It's like it's not that these guys are going to reach the top 15 or whatever. So it's okay.
I completely agree. Nazar Haqparast, Landon Quinones. I think this would have been fight of the night if it wasn't for the Cop DeSantos fight. This was a great fight. I was really critical of the UFC signing this Quinones guy, but I think he proved he belongs, Marcel, to be honest with you. And I think he's normally a featherweight. Is that right? Is he normally 145? I believe so, right? Let me double check that. But he proved that he's a pretty tough fighter, man. I mean, he took a lot of shots in this fight. And I think I'm wrong, actually.
He fought a 55 from tough as well. Yeah.
He's a lightweight. My mistake. I thought because in tough they usually fight up a weight that he wasn't. But yeah, I mean the guy's. He has fought at featherweight, by the way. He fought Muhammad Naimov at featherweight, so he's fought at both weight classes. Yeah. But now he's a lightweight. Nazrat. I mean, he took a beating to the legs, but then started really landing to the head. Nazrat's he's good, man. He's solid. So, anything else you want to say about this one?
Yeah, Nazrat always gets some weird ass. How do you say that? Criticism from people for some reason. Yeah. I like him a lot, man. He's a fun fighter. So yeah, good for him. He won.
He is. Volkov absolutely got robbed. Crazy Pato, 100% he got robbed. I think me and Marcel are both on the side of that. The other thing is for that last fight with Chepe and Jenkins, I'm looking at the comments right now. Yeah, it was weird because they called it verbal submission. You think that's a submission, then it says TKO knockout. So, kind of a strange thing a little bit there with the verbal submission. But I would have called it a TKO due to injury personally, because you can't fight with if you have an arm dislocated, right? So, Charles Radke, go. Sorry.
Fight of the night now.
Yeah. Charles Radke vs. Blood Diamond. This fight was fucking terrible. It was a bad fight to watch. The post-fight interview was terrible. It was cringe. Radke, I mean, like I said, I thought he looked good in the tape, but I wasn't super impressed by his performance. It's hard to be impressed by Blood Diamond either. Now, I got some shit for people for my scorecard on this one. I understand. I mean, here's the thing. Let me justify this, okay? So,
go ahead.
Second round clearly is Radke. Clearly, he rocked Blood Diamond, almost knocked him out. Clearly, his round. Third round, Blood Diamond won that round. The third round. Outlanded him a lot, and then had the point deduction, right? So it's 10. It'd be 9-9. Comes down to the first round, and the first round was terrible. And I'm looking at the stats right now. They both only landed 4 significant strikes. Now, I guess Radke had a lot of control time. Here's the thing. When I was watching it, I'm like, I just think when you're shoving a guy against the fence, it's not really effective control. It's not effective grappling. So that's why I was leaning towards Diamond. But again, I even wrote in my tweet, I was like, I think it's 1-1, but it could be 2-0 Radke. So I wasn't surprised by the scorecards. I think they're fine. I'm just trying to justify why I had it a draw, because I see other people had it a draw too. I looked on MMA decisions, a lot of the fans had it a draw as well. So yeah, I saw Aaron Bronster, a friend of mine, he had it a draw as well. It's not like I was the only one who had that scorecard, but I just wanted to justify that because I did get some shit for that. Maybe not my best scorecard, but again, you look at this first round, guys, the stats are just terrible. 4 significant strikes landed each. I mean, when it's that close on paper, the judges could go either way. And actually, one of the judges did have the first round for Diamond. So, Yeah, it was a shit fight. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Anything else you want to say from this fight? I just hated this fight.
I had a 29-27 for Charles Radke.
Fight sucked.
Listen, man, the most memorable thing about that fight was the post-fight interview. So yeah,
That's true. All right, Gabriel Miranda, that beautiful mustache, gets the submission win over Shane Young. You know, Marcel, you picked Miranda, great pick. I got to be honest, when I saw Young miss weight by what was he missed weight by what 3.75
pounds?
Yeah. I was like, I don't know if I should pick this guy, and I don't like switching my pick after the podcast, but sometimes you watch the way, and maybe I should. He looked terrible. Shane Young's getting cut from the UFC. Good for Miranda though, man. Yeah, Shane Young's 2-5 in the UFC. He's getting his ass cut for sure. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the guy missed weight too. So disrespectful, right? To come in there and miss weight in your hometown. Like, come on. Or not hometown, but like home area, I should say. Miranda though, good win for him. And then finally, Kevin Jusay gets the win over Kiefer Crosby in his UFC debut. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't hear Adesanya this time about giving away 90% or 80% of the prize. Hey, what was that? Yeah, Miranda looked great, dude. Quick submission win. You know,
Yep.
I like him a lot. He's training at MMA Masters. I think he's doing well.
Yep.
And like, dude, the Shane Young, he looks kind of like the big brother of Kai Kara France, but the less talented. You know.
Yep. No, I completely agree.
Yeah. And Jusay was just better than Crosby. I pretty much thought that would happen. You know, Crosby's like an okay fighter, but I was never impressed by him at Bellator at all. You know, and I really have the feeling that he got in the UFC because the UFC wants to already like pre-think the Dublin fight night for next year, so they need to have more Irish fighters on the roster.
Yeah, but, and Connor, it's Connor's boy. So
yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it, I think, for UFC 293. Any last thoughts on this card? It was a great card. Sorry, guys. Again, you know, I got 45 minutes here, and we're going to do the Mexico preview, so I don't have a lot more time. But any more thoughts on this card quickly?
No, super fun, man. Great card.
Out of 10, what would you rate it? Out of 10?
I would give it a 7.58. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8, maybe an 8.5. I think it was a great card. And then last question: who stock dropped the most? Do I have to ask you? It's obviously Izzy, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you cannot say anybody else here, you know.
And who stock went up the most? Obviously Strickland, right?
Strickland and maybe Felipe dos Santos as well.
Yeah, you know what? That's the thing. Sometimes a guy in a loss will do well, right? And that guy looked great. He's definitely UFC caliber. All right, let's just really quickly go through last week's contender series, Marcel, really, really quick. Yeah. Renzi Ribeiro gets the knockout win. Huge upset. Great. Yep. Sari CD gets the win. It was a quick stoppage. I think they're going to give the other guy another fight in week 10. Dylan Budka gets the win in the worst fight in contender series history, maybe, and gets a contract, which makes no sense. Gene Silva looked great. Really liked this guy. He did like this at one point. You see that, Marcel?
Yeah.
And then Dion Barboza looked great too. She gets a contract. So 5 contracts. There's no way in fucking hell would have given Dylan Budka a contract. I don't care if he took it at short notice and it was normal, like a different weight class or whatever. Like, I wasn't impressed, but the other guys obviously deserved it. Any quick thoughts?
Yeah, man. I mean, this is done. Dylan Budka, I'm happy for him, don't get me wrong. But the funny thing is, Dana always says, like, I don't know anything about these guys coming into this fight. I don't know anything. I just watch and I see. And then he's like, yeah, Dylan Budka. He actually fought 2 weeks ago at heavyweight, and he was homeless for a long time. And he did it. I was like, dude, you know more about him than you're just talking shit all the time.
I know.
So, yeah, I was happy for all the guys and the girl who got the contract. Listen, man, the main event, that dude who was like a big underdog, but that other dude was like way too wild, you know, and he left opening, so he got a counter shot and he got knocked out. So was, I think, it was the LFA champion against the Shoot the Brazil champion, and Shoot the Brazil champion won. So yeah, good for him.
Branson is a very strange name, I'll say that. It's like Brandon, but also like Brandon together, and then it's a strange one. Anyways, yeah, I mean, there were some good prospects coming out of that, but I still don't like that one contract. We're gonna see the last question here. We're gonna start the new podcast up for the UFC, for the Noche UFC card. You guys see Dana was probably talking to Todd Marab. He said this thing can you take fights we offer you. Yeah, probably. I don't think Dana's a fan of like Marab right now and Sterling because of what they're doing. Like it's like John Fitch and Josh Koscheck way back in the day. Remember they wouldn't fight each other, and then you also had Rashad Evans and John Jones. But remember Rashad left the camp, right? It was Jackson Wink. He ended up leaving it. People forget that, but that rivalry between Jones and Rashad was one of the best rivalries I think ever. To be honest with you, Marcel, I know the fight, wasn't very competitive, but the lead up to it was incredible because it was like the guy the guy's like mentor almost. You know,
Oh,
became his rival.
but he was like Jones is always when he starts, he's on his like how do you say that, bow down, like
Yeah,
almost, and Evans like, he got that from me.
By the way, what you sent me the video. What do you think about DC right now being on his fucking phone when Sean Strickland was doing his media or his backstage interview with the commentators, and DC sitting there looking
Scrolling.
at the Skip the Dishes app to figure out what to order from Popeye's Chicken? What do you think of that,
Dude,
Marcel?
Cruz is right. Cruz is right. I said it. Listen, man. I always said it to you. Like, I'd rather see DC fight than DC commentate, man. And then maybe I sound like a hater, but man, I'm so really done with DC as a commentator. It's so annoying. I mean, I know a lot of people like it actually, but I don't. I just say what I think. So yeah.
No, I completely agree. All right, let's just end this podcast, guys. Really appreciate everyone joining us for a short notice podcast this morning to recap UFC 293. What a hell of an event. We're going to do the UFC, Noche UFC, it's called, right, Marcel?
Yeah.
We're going to do that preview in just a minute here, guys. Just give me 1 sec. We'll set it up. We're only going to go for 45 minutes. We're going to go through those fights quick. They've lost a few fights this week, so it's not like it's the biggest card. But yeah, just give me a second here, guys. Hope everyone takes care. And just join us in about 2 minutes here as we do the Noche UFC preview. Peace.